Have you ever been blamed for something you didn't do? Have you ever watched people turn away from you because they believed a lie? If so, today's story is for you. This is the story of a faithful teacher, a loving husband, and a devoted man of God whose reputation was nearly destroyed by a false accusation. But through every tear, every rumor, and every lonely day, he refused to stop trusting the Lord. For more than 25 years, Michael Jenkins faithfully taught history at Jefferson High School. Generation after generation of students walked through his classroom doors. Nearly all of them remembered one thing about Mr. Jenkins. He genuinely cared. Teaching wasn't simply his job, it was his ministry. Every morning before sunrise, while the rest of the neighborhood was still asleep, Mr. Jenkins sat quietly at the kitchen table with an open Bible, a notebook filled with prayer requests, and a steaming cup of coffee. His wife, Angela, often watched him from the doorway. She loved seeing him pray. He prayed for struggling students. He prayed for teachers who were overwhelmed. He even prayed for students who gave him the hardest time in class. Angela would smile and ask, "Michael, don't you ever run out of people to pray for?" He would smile back and quietly answer, "As long as people need Jesus, I'll never run out of prayers." The Jenkins family lived a simple life. Money was sometimes tight, but joy was never in short supply. Their home was filled with laughter, prayer, kindness, and peace. Every Sunday morning, they faithfully attended Mount Sinai Church of God, where they sat together on the third pew from the front. Everyone knew Michael Jenkins as a humble man who loved God with all his heart. No one could have imagined how quickly his life was about to change. Summer vacation was coming to an end, and Jefferson High School buzzed with excitement. This year was especially exciting because the school district had purchased brand new laptops for every incoming freshman. Hundreds of students would now have access to modern technology that many families could never afford on their own. Principal Linda Carter proudly announced during the faculty meeting, "These laptops are a tremendous investment in our students' future. Until distribution day, they'll remain locked inside the storage room." Everyone applauded. That evening, families gathered for the school's annual open house. Parents met teachers, students searched for classrooms. Hallways echoed with laughter and excitement. As always, Mr. Jenkins stayed behind after everyone else had gone home. He helped another teacher carry heavy boxes. He straightened desks. He picked up trash left behind in the hallways. Before leaving, he walked to the storage room where the laptops were being kept. He gently pulled on the door handle. Locked. Satisfied that everything was secure, he turned off the lights and headed home. A security camera captured him checking the door before leaving. No one thought anything of it. At least, not that night. The next morning, everything changed. A frantic phone call echoed through the school office. "The laptops are gone!" Teachers rushed toward the storage room. Administrators searched every classroom. Custodians checked closets. Office staff looked through every hallway. Nothing. Hundreds of brand new laptops had completely disappeared. Police arrived. Security footage was reviewed. Everyone watched the monitors in silence. There it was, one person entering the storage room after open house. Mr. Jenkins. The room became quiet. Someone whispered, "He was the last person there." Another replied softly, "That doesn't look good." Within hours, detectives asked Mr. Jenkins to answer questions. He remained calm. "No, sir. I did not take those laptops. I simply checked to make sure the room was locked before I left." The police searched his classroom. Nothing. They searched his car. Nothing. They searched his home. Nothing. Still, the whispers continued. Teachers who once laughed with him suddenly became quiet when he entered the faculty lounge. Conversations stopped. People looked away. Some no longer greeted him in the hallways. Students began hearing the gossip. Did you hear? They think Mr. Jenkins stole the laptops. I can't believe it. I always trusted him. The words cut deeper than anyone knew. After spending 25 years teaching honesty and integrity, people were suddenly questioning his own character. Yet one person refused to believe the accusations: Coach David Thompson. He had worked beside Michael for nearly 20 years. When another teacher asked if he thought Michael was guilty, Coach Thompson answered without hesitation, "I know his character. I've watched him live his faith every day. I trust who he is more than I trust assumptions." One afternoon, Coach Thompson quietly walked into Mr. Jenkins's classroom carrying 2 cups of coffee. He placed one on the desk. "You don't have to walk through this alone." Mr. Jenkins smiled, his eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, my friend." At home, things became even more difficult. Neighbors who once waved now crossed the street without speaking. Someone anonymously wrote the word thief on the family's fence. Angela washed it away before Michael came outside, but he noticed the fresh paint. That evening, they knelt beside their bed. Angela held both of his hands. "Michael," she whispered, "I know the truth. And even more importantly, God knows the truth." They prayed together, not for revenge. They prayed for peace and for God's perfect timing. The following Sunday, they walked into church together. Pastor James greeted them warmly. He wrapped his arms around Mr. Jenkins. "I'm glad you came." That morning, the sermon came from the life of Joseph, a righteous man falsely accused, a faithful servant imprisoned for something he never did. Yet through it all, God never abandoned him. Near the end of the message, Pastor James looked toward Mr. Jenkins. Sometimes God allows us to walk through seasons where our reputation is tested so that His glory can be revealed. After church, the pastor prayed over him. "Brother Jenkins, continue trusting God. The Lord knows how to defend His own children." Those words settled deep into Michael's heart. Days turned into weeks. The school board placed him on administrative leave while the investigation continued. Every morning he still woke before sunrise. He still opened his Bible. He still prayed. He still worshiped. Instead of becoming bitter, he prayed for those who had doubted him. "Lord, help them see the truth. I choose to trust you." His faith never wavered. Then, one ordinary afternoon, everything changed. Detectives received an anonymous tip. Someone had seen suspicious activity behind the school on the night of open house. Investigators searched nearby surveillance cameras. A pickup truck appeared behind the school shortly after everyone had left. The license plate belonged to the father of an incoming freshman. Police obtained a search warrant. Inside the man's garage sat every unopened box of school laptops. Every single one. The man finally confessed. He admitted he had entered through an unlocked maintenance entrance during the crowded open house. He had overheard employees discussing where the shipment had been stored. He acted alone, and Mr. Jenkins had absolutely nothing to do with the theft. The next morning, Principal Carter called an emergency faculty meeting. With tears in her eyes, she spoke. "I owe Mr. Jenkins a public apology. He has been completely cleared. He is innocent." The room fell silent. Many teachers lowered their heads in shame. Some quietly cried. Others realized they had believed rumors instead of the man they had known for decades. Coach Thompson simply smiled. "I never doubted him. On Monday morning, Mr. Jenkins walked back into his classroom. As he opened the door, every student stood. Some students were wiping away tears. One young man raised his hand. "Mr. Jenkins, I'm sorry I believed what people were saying." Another student said, "You always taught us to stand for the truth. You never stopped living what you taught." Mr. Jenkins smiled gently. "The truth doesn't always arrive quickly," he said, "but it always arrives." The following Sunday, Pastor James invited Mr. Jenkins to speak before the congregation. Michael slowly walked to the pulpit. Looking across the sanctuary, he said, "I've learned something these past few weeks. People may misunderstand you. They may judge you. They may walk away. But God never leaves. If you keep praying, if you keep worshiping, if you keep doing what's right, the Lord knows exactly how to clear your name." The congregation rose to their feet. Many were in tears. Angela reached over and gently held his hand. They had walked through one of the darkest valleys of their lives, but God had been faithful every step of the way. If you're watching today and you've been falsely accused, if people have misunderstood you, if it feels like no one believes your side of the story, don't give up. Don't lose heart. Continue walking with God. Continue praying. Continue doing what's right. The same God who vindicated Joseph, the same God who defended Daniel, the same God who stood with Mr. Jenkins, is the same God who is with you today. Remember the promise found in Isaiah 54:17. "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." God's timing is always perfect. He sees every tear, He hears every prayer. And when the time is right, He knows exactly how to reveal the truth. The Lord always has the final word,